Hi, how are you? Hope you've been so well. How long has it been since we've done a makeup tutorial? It's been like a year, 2 years. I think it became pretty obvious that I was getting really burnt out with makeup and I didn't have any cool ideas, any new ideas. I felt burnt out by body painting, by old jobs that I was doing, and I just stopped doing tutorials. If you watched my last video, I talked about how excited I was to get back into makeup as a freelance makeup artist, as an artist in general. So I decided to do a makeup tutorial. I'm going out to a wedding event tonight for a wedding I'm attending this weekend. So I'm going to do a makeup tutorial. I have applied some skincare. Now, I'm not really going to talk about it because this brand is limited to Greece. It's a Greek brand. And I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, especially because I don't have all the products that I want to be having. I just put on a moisturizer, an SPF 50 moisturizer, because I don't have an evening moisturizer. I'm going out at 8:30, which is in about an hour and a half. Ignore this, I need it for my light to work. Do you like my candle? It's the vanilla scent from Diptyque. As promised in my previous video, I am going to do a review of the Dior Velvet Veil Forever Velvet Veil Matte Primer. First thoughts, by the way, because I've been wearing it for a few days. I wanted to make sure that I enjoyed the product and I liked it enough, and holy cow. Because I don't know if I'm still allowed to swear on this channel. Dare I say, this is better than the Laura Mercier? Yeah. The Laura Mercier is beautiful. And I will be using it again in the future. You can't always be getting the luxury stuff. But for now, if you're after a more luxury product as a primer, this is a beautiful, beautiful primer. I've been wearing it in the heat, 35-degree heat all day, almost every day. And it refines my pores. It makes me look very airbrushed. It makes me look very healthy. It's like a healthy velvet finish. Could that be because of my skincare? Because I've been using niacinamide? Sure. But I'm also using SPF sunscreen, which for oily skin isn't the best idea. When it comes to photos. For skin in general, it's a great idea. It's a very liquid consistency, which again, at first I kind of panicked because liquid oil, it doesn't really work. But it feels so light on the skin. There is a bit of a fragrance to it, so if you are sensitive to fragrance, I'm sensitive to fragrance, and it's not so bad, but there is fragrance. So if your skin is sensitive and you have sensitive smell receptors, you might not appreciate that. So with primers, I typically, especially pore refining ones, I typically push them in as I spread them around. It's definitely not silicone based, it's liquid based, which always worries me. Oh my god. Okay, screensaver, 657. Yeah, when things are liquid-based, for the reason I mentioned before, how oils and liquids don't mix well, I always get kind of panicky. But I can say with complete confidence that it doesn't separate. It actually looks gorgeous on the skin. Generally, I am very impressed with this product, and I am not one to keep buying the luxury brands when it comes to makeup because I wear makeup every day. Well, not every day. Every time I do things outdoors, I wear makeup. So my makeup runs out pretty quickly. But I did say the same thing about Estee Lauder. If I didn't say it on camera, I said it to myself. It's a beautiful foundation. It's a quality brand. It's a high-end, more high-end brand. I end up getting it every time. I actually currently have 2 of these. One in this color, one in the winter color, which was making me too white. As somebody with oily skin, it's not going to cause a shine when you take photos if you wear the appropriate skincare. If you know how to maintain oily skin, because no makeup product, no matter what they tell you, no mattifying makeup product on its own is going to stop your skin from getting oily. You're getting oily because your skin feels dehydrated and it's excreting sebum secretion to hydrate itself, and it's coming out in the form of oil. So if you're taking care of your skin, wearing sunscreen isn't going to affect anything. You're still going to look good in photos, your skin's going to be protected, but it's all in the skincare. No makeup is going to make you matte. They can just enhance what the skincare is doing. Just with that application, you can't tell. I can tell because it's in person, it's different, and on camera it's different. My pores don't look open and violent. They look more refined. My skin, it looks glowy, but it's not oily. When I set it, it'll look great. You can't tell yet because I'm still working, but as for what it feels like, It feels very light. Now, this foundation is very light. It always has been. And I'm not a very full coverage person. This is a medium to buildable coverage foundation. I've talked about it before. So I do build on it a little bit, but not to the point where it's full coverage. You can. A lot of brides wear this makeup. This is actually what the makeup artist that did my best friend for her wedding, this is what she was using. For concealer, I'm using the NARS Chantilly. I haven't gone darker in concealer because we still want to look bright. So I'm going to use that today like I do every day because that's my foundation and concealer combo. And you will see shortly when I set everything how flawless everything looks. Usually you can't see my concealer because my foundation is so white. Maybe you'll be able to see it today. I usually put a little bit on the inside and a little bit on the outside, not exactly touching the under eye area, just between the highlight part of your cheekbone and the eye area, and then I blend everything together and it doesn't look so heavy. But yeah, this is where I apply my under eye makeup. In the summer, it's better for your skin and for your comfort not to wear too much makeup. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to wear too much makeup because people that tell me to not wear too much makeup, I want to punch them in the face. But it depends on what you're comfortable with. I'm not comfortable doing the V thing. It doesn't suit my face shape. It never did. I feel like it brings everything down and it feels like too much makeup. It makes it easy for the eyes to crease. So I put a little bit on. This one I blended both towards the eye and on the cheekbone because if you don't know me, you know that I don't really wear highlighters because I have oily skin. That might change soon. But on the inside of the eye, I do put a little bit here in the crevice and I buff out and blend out whatever I can. And any excess on the top of the eyelid. Lately what I've been doing, because my cheeks are a little red because of, you know, little sunburns, I've been putting a little bit extra just on the cheeks. You'll see it later. I don't put blush here in the apples of my cheeks. I keep it slanted. So I do brighten up the cheek area a little bit. Again, I'm pushing it in. I'm not really swiping. You're supposed to push in with beauty blenders, but it is helpful to explain why. You're not swiping because you're not trying to move the makeup. You're trying to push it into the skin. That was too much highlight. I put a little highlight on the nose, a little bit here. I don't put it completely over the brows and everything. A lot of people do that to make their forehead look bigger. I already have a pretty big head. So I'm not interested in, you know, making it look bigger. But I do blend it from the bridge of the nose. Ow, my spine. And on top of the front of the eyebrows, this area here, I do open, but not too much. A little bit on the cupid's bow and on the chin. If you don't know why we highlight and shadow, we highlight things we want to bring out and we shadow the things that we want to sink in. So when you want to bring out the center of your face, you highlight the T-zone. What I used to do is I used to highlight this jawline as well, but it was very, I don't know, it was disfiguring my face. It made my jaw look a little too big and it didn't fit with my actual face shape, so I've stopped doing that. I'm putting concealer on my neck for two reasons. One is because if we're centering and lighting the center of the face, when you look up and this is all dark, it looks very two-dimensional, very flat. The second reason is because I have added foundation to my neck, whatever's left over here, I blend from the center out to make it look like it's not so foundation-y. Now, to set everything, I'm using my Mercier Ultra Blur Translucent Loose Setting Powder. I cannot talk enough about how incredible this product is. This translucent powder has a bit of color to it, but it doesn't change the color of the foundation. Try and add your makeup from the center of the face and pull it out. What you don't want is jagged lines. We talked about that just now when I said that I blend everything on my neck, but you also don't want too much product in the center. You want to taper it out. So that's what I do with my powder as well. For bronzer, I'm using the Benefit Hoola bronzer. I have had this for a very long time. I love it so much. It is a bit light now that I'm tanner, but I'm not so tan that it's invisible. And the good thing with this bronzer is that it's also buildable. Put that in the hollows of the cheek and I buff it upward in swiping motions to start with, and then with whatever's residue on the brush, circling motions to make it look more natural. And then without adding any extra product, I go into the temples and on top of the forehead. While I do highlight the little portions in the middle here, I don't go hard on the contouring because I don't want to bring it down. I put bronzer there so it looks like a unanimous kind of unit and not like I've forgotten that part of my face, you know? In the hollows and then tapering it up, and then with whatever's left in circling motions up the temple into the hairline. And because it's summer, you can get away with doing it a little darker. when I do it a little darker, I don't do everything that I just showed you. I just go into this little dip. I also go a little bit under my chin. If you look at my chin and my neck, it looks like one. Just where my jaw ends, my neck starts. One of the pleasures of having a diamond-shaped face. So what I do is I take residue product, and it's not exactly under my chin. It's a little bit... Sorry, did I say chin? I meant jaw. It's not exactly underneath my jaw. It's between under my jaw and on my face. Like a shadow. Just to give it a little bit more dimension. So that when I'm in photos, I don't look like this. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit more of a dusting of product. Because I am wearing a darker foundation, and like I said, it's summertime, I bring behind the ears and a little down the chin, neck, just to blend everything together, and so it does look like a unit. With a fluffy round brush, I'm using the same bronzer, and what I'm going to do is a nose contour. I don't go too hard on the nose contour, because I spent all that time trying to brighten the center of my face, and when I go heavy on the nose contour, it kind of looks muddy. If you're very good at sculpting, then it's not going to look muddy on you, but if you're new to this channel, I have had a nose job. My nose was crooked and broken and I couldn't breathe, so we fixed it. And because of that, I don't have to do much of a nose contour because it's now centered in my face. I no longer have a bump that I need to hide. It's easy for me to do a nose contour, which I wouldn't even call it a contour. I would just call it, I don't know, details. But I bring that up into the front of my eyes, under my nose, into the little ball area, the bulbous area, and then a little bit on the top here so it looks like it's got some booty, but on my nose. For blush, I'm using the NARS Dolce Vita. I have gotten this blush 3 times. I love it. I know I should experiment. I will, I promise. But I like it. I like it a lot, okay? What I was saying before, how I don't put blush in the center of my face, because look what happens. Smile? Not smile. Your face falls when you're not smiling. If you put it on the balls of your cheeks, it doesn't happen to everyone. People that have heart-shaped faces and circle-shaped faces, they look cute all the time. You can't stop that. People like me that have a refined, what's this, cheekbone, that is how we do our blush. I lightly dust some blush from here, which is, yeah, off-center. This would be the center of the apple of the cheek. I'm here, I'm off-center. And I brush it back and forth, and in circles, I try and fill in whatever's missing from the contour or the bronze. I'd say bronze. I'm not really sculpting my face. I'm just kind of following its lines. And that's where I add my blush, just off center, back and forth, and it's a light touch as well. It's a light dusting. I'm not heavy-handed. With the residue product, I do tap it onto the front of the face because I don't want to look like a ghost. Now, you don't have to do that if you're afraid of blush. I used to be afraid of blush. The reason I do it now is because blush is the first thing to leave your face. I don't know why. It's the first thing to disappear. So when I add a little bit here, I know that it's not going to last all night. I'm not going to go out looking like a clown. And this is a very light blush. It's not very, I mean, it's very pigmented if you use it well and if you go in multiple times, but I go in with a light hand. I don't do too many layers. And that's my blush. For my eyebrows, you're not going to like what I'm going to do because my eyebrows right now are pretty shitty. I've been using an angled brush and an eyeshadow powder because I cannot be bothered getting my shit together. Yeah, I have not put it upon myself to go get that Benefit Gimme Brow colored thing. So instead, I try to be an artist. I go into a brown, any brown that you have will do. I'm using the Smokey palette by Urban Decay. Do you remember these? The naked palettes? I'm using this. It's called Whiskey. I mainly try to add an end shape and I wing it out as much as I can, and then I kind of play around with the powder and make it as even as I can. I've never been good at eyebrows. I've never been concerned with eyebrows because I'm someone that has eyebrow hair. It's just that I also have a compulsivity to keep plucking. And then I add any residue to the front because the next thing I'm going to do is going to be clear. So it's not going to add any extra color. This is by Benefit. It says 24-hour something, but I've used it so often that the information has come off. And I use it to brush down my wild ass hairs because, again, I haven't had my eyebrows done in a couple months. The colors I'm going to be using today are mostly going to be Rum and Raisin from the Semi-Sweet Chocolate palette by Too Faced. I have hit pan on so many of these colors. This palette is very loved. And this color here called Frosting. And I might go in with Hot Fudge, and I probably will go in with black. I'm going to use my finger, my not very hard pressure finger, my ring finger. And I'm going to dip into Rum Raisin, and I'll swipe it across the eyelid. And I'm not going to mind if I go a little overboard, like over the actual eyelid part, because I am going to blend it out. And the reason I don't care is because I have a semi-hooded eye, which means that you're not going to see it. Whatever I do is going to be hidden anyway. So that's why I'm a little haphazard with my application. But what I do is I blend it out in circling motions. And what that does is it gives it a soft edge. And I do that only on the outside, because in the center of the eye, I wanted the color more potent, but on the outside, more tapered out, so you can't really tell. And I'm just going to do that again, a little bit layered, tapping it the second time, not swiping it, and blending out that top part of it. So swiping it the first time and then tapping it after that. And then with circling motions, making sure it's tapered out. I'm so good at speaking. Another reason I'm going like haphazardly and I'm allowing it to be taken up to the brow, when this particular shadow, when the light hits it, it becomes very luminescent. So it's very favorable to hooded eyes, semi-hooded eyes. I assume that if you have normal eyes, it just makes your eyes look bigger. But for someone like me or for somebody with hooded eyes, it makes our eyes look like they exist. So it's such a good shade. With my blending brush, my more dense blending brush, I'm taking the color Frosting that I mentioned before, this one. You see how when this one hits the light as well, it lightens up a little? What I'm going to do is take it from that outside and in circles, bring it back in. So you can see the application there down, but then when I go up, you see how it like takes in that light? I'm going to buff this out into that upper portion of my eye. If you have normal set eyes, you probably avoid this and this is where you highlight, but when you have semi-hooded eyes, do you see how that looks lit anyway? So I'm going to bring that up to make it dark. I'm going to bring it out as well to make it dramatic. And because the light's going to catch this high point, but if I bring it out, it'll give more of an illusion of that V. I'm going to concentrate more of that color on the outer V and bring it in on this brow bone. Okay, to make this upper part of the eye less saggy looking, because it's not saggy looking, it just looks that way because that's how the light is hitting it. I'm going to take a wide pencil brush into the color Puddin, if you can see it, Puddin, which is a matte. The reason I'm using a matte is because it's not going to catch the light. So when I bring it up into this brow bone, it's not going to look like there's too much skin up here. Do you see how this looks like it's too much? This will hopefully prevent that. And this is why that whole shimmer on the eyelid and then do the outer V in matte, that's where that came from. So if I put Puddin here and then bring it up higher than the brow bone because I have a hooded eye, I'll be able to blend that out and make that darker. Now, depending on how good you are with makeup, you can choose to go in with the pencil brush and blend it out slowly. Or if you're worried about not being seamless enough, you can take the one that we use the shimmer with, you can take that and just buff it out a little bit, but be mindful that there still will be shimmer on this brush. Alright, underneath the eye, I'm going to take Frosting, that color that I used on the outside, the shimmer color that I used on the outside, and take it underneath the whole under eye. A lot of people don't like doing this. They don't like going under the eye because it gives them extra eye bags, extra creasing, and I'm not going to tell you not to worry about it because it's not my business, it's not my place, but I love that extra smoke. My makeup doesn't crease anymore. It used to when I had oilier eyelids. I don't anymore. With Hot Fudge, which was the shimmer I showed you in the beginning, this dark shimmer, I'm going to use the same brush and I'm going to concentrate it mainly on the outer portion of that. And I'm going to bring it up a little, and because I liked it so much just now, I'm going to include it on the outer V. And I'm going to blend it out later because that looks very harsh. With the same dense buffing brush from before, blending brush from before, I'm just going to do swipes on the upper brow bone part and circles in that V. And it won't take too much away from the shimmer because it's already got shimmer on it, but it will blend it out nicely. I think what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to take Licorice, which is just the black up here in this corner. I'm going to do a spot here and a spot in here where I'm going to do a little redefining. So how do I explain this? I'm placing the brush on the outer V and pulling it upwards. Light-handed, so heavy hand when you push down, lift up, light hand, because you want to keep the dark close to that V, like the inside. I don't know how to word it, the dip of that V. And then with your trusty blending brush, I'm going to recommend to start off with circles, just so you can blend out the harshest things, and then in swipey motions make it soft. With your fluffy brush, I'm going to actually wipe down a little bit of that, and I'm going to take more of Raisin, which is this color here again, the one that we went in with our finger, and just remind it of its luminescence. Because remember, this is the color that's going to catch the light. In the right light, it looks like an inner highlight. With my inner highlight brush, which is just a pencil brush that's smaller, I'm going to use Raisin again under the eye here in the inner part of that for the exact same reason. Because it's not exactly a highlight, it adds to the smokiness underneath. Now, let's do some eyeliner. I don't know how this is going to work because I'm already at an awkward angle. Okay, from the outer point of the eye, I'm going to try and teach. Follow the lash line. See this hood? That is where we're going to join our eyeline. I take that and I make them meet. And that's the eyeliner. Let me just fill that in quickly. Don't be afraid to... How do I even explain it? Don't be afraid to get on that hood. If you've got a hooded eye, you're going to get eyeliner on the hood. That's the only way you're going to see it, or else it's going to look like a smiley face, like that Nike tick, and it looks really bad. So don't be afraid to cross boundaries that are not typically taught. Okay, so from here I'm going to go from the middle, and I'm going to try and meet that high point. With the Makeup Forever Aqua Resist color pencil in black, I'm lining the inside, upper and lower lash lines. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to straighten my hair, and then if I have time left, I'm going to come put on lashes. If I don't have time left, I'm just going to have to put on mascara and the lip, and that's it. So I will be back in hopefully 10 or so minutes to finish this up. In the meantime, what I'm going to do with Licorice, I'm going to go in with my angle brush, the same one that I did my eyebrows with, and I'm going to tap into Licorice. And in the corner, in the outer V, to connect the eyeline to the eyeshadow, I make a little dash and I blend it out with my pencil brush that I've been using this whole time. It adds to the smoke, it adds to the drama, and concentrate that blend only on the outer half. And if you're good at tapering, you can taper it out through the wing. It usually looks better because I'm wearing mascara, but I'm gonna go straighten my hair because I'm trying to save some time. Oh, that was too close. Hi! Okay. So I managed to get my lashes on. My eyes are really dry because my fan is still going. And I will set my face one last time before I go, but I haven't done lips. So I decided to come on here and do my lips. I'm rushing now because I gotta go. But for lips, I'm using Stone by MAC, just because we're not finished the makeup. You know, it's a makeup tutorial. Stone by MAC and Blankety by MAC. Now, I have words to say about Blankety, but I'm running out of time. Hang on. I feel like I have to make it clearer because my face looks greasy now. It's just hot in this room. It's not a reflection on this primer that I'm telling you is so good. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, the Blankety here is a lot more neutral than the one in Australia. The one in Australia is more pink. I did buy a pink called Peppermint Pink or something, but it's too pink. So today we're using this neutral color. And yeah, that's all. Now, what I do, because I do have oil-prone skin, I have set it. If you remember, before I straightened my hair, I set my makeup. I'm going to go back in with the MERCIER and set on top of it. When you do this, it takes hours before you start looking greasy again, which is extraordinary. Push that into everywhere that you fear will sabotage you later. And just like that, it's all better. How are my lips doing? And that's the final look for today. There's not much I can do in terms of showing you my outfit because I gotta go. I really have to go. But maybe in the thumbnail of this video, I've taken at least one photo. Thank you for tuning in today. I will try to be more organized next time, but it's been good doing makeup again. I will see you in the next one. I really gotta go. Mwah!